This documentary examines a real, international criminal investigation involving digital exploitation networks and law enforcement operations. No graphic material is shown or described. Viewer discretion is advised. For years, a hidden network operated across borders. It didn't rely on violence in the streets. It relied on silence, encryption, and time. And when investigators finally uncovered it, they didn't announce it. They moved quietly. This was Operation Xray Wick. Unlike traditional criminal organizations, this network didn't have a headquarters. No single country, no visible leader, no obvious financial trail. Instead, it existed inside encrypted platforms, private servers, and closed digital communities spread across multiple countries. Investigators later described it not as a group, but as cells. Independent, loosely connected, and difficult to trace. For years, it remained invisible. The infrastructure was designed to be ephemeral, disposable. If one part was discovered, it could be cut off without compromising the rest. They used layers of digital misdirection, routing traffic through different jurisdictions to make it nearly impossible to follow. They didn't have membership cards. They had shared protocols and a common goal. This decentralized structure made them resilient, a ghost in the machine that traditional law enforcement methods couldn't touch. For every digital door investigators tried to open, 10 more would lock. Modern exploitation networks don't operate in the open. They use end-to-end encrypted platforms, anonymous login credentials, temporary digital infrastructure, and constant migration between servers. Accounts disappear, servers go offline, evidence fragments vanish. Investigators often arrive months or years too late, by design. Think of it like a digital game of cat and mouse, but the mouse can change its shape, its location, and its identity in an instant. They leverage the very tools designed for privacy to build walls of secrecy. The same encryption that protects your bank details or private messages can be weaponized to conceal criminal activity on an industrial scale. This creates a fundamental paradox for law enforcement. How do you police a space that is, by its very nature, built to be The answer is often, you don't. You wait for a mistake. Operation Xray Wick didn't begin with an arrest. It began with a mistake. A single digital anomaly, inconsistent server traffic, flagged during an unrelated cybercrime investigation. At first it looked minor, a tiny flicker on a screen filled with data. But when analysts followed the trail, it led somewhere unexpected. Multiple countries, repeated access points, shared infrastructure. Something larger was hiding underneath. Authorities knew one thing immediately. This couldn't be handled by a single nation. Operation Xray Wick became a multi-agency, multi-country task force involving cybercrime units, digital forensics teams, and international law enforcement. But coordination came at a cost. Different laws, different thresholds for evidence, different speeds. Every delay gave the network more time to adapt. Imagine trying to assemble a team where everyone speaks a different language and follows a different rule book, all while the target is actively moving and changing. Legal requests for data that took hours in one country could take months in another. Evidence admissible in one court might be thrown out in another. This friction, this bureaucratic delay, is the network's greatest ally. While investigators were filing paperwork, the targets were migrating servers, deleting accounts, and covering their tracks. It was a race against the clock, fought on a battlefield of jurisdictions. When the operation finally moved, it did so without publicity. No press conferences, no early warnings. Servers were seized simultaneously. Accounts were frozen. Digital identities were traced. Arrests happened quietly across borders, often without local media reporting. By the time the public learned of the operation, most of it was already over. On a specific day, at a specific hour, teams in over a dozen countries executed warrants. The digital infrastructure was taken offline in a matter of minutes. The silence was strategic. Any leak, any premature news report would have sent a shockwave through the network, allowing key players to disappear forever. The takedown was as quiet and methodical as the network it was targeting. For the criminals, there was no warning, just a sudden, digital blackout. Some accounts went dark just days before seizures. Some users vanished completely. Some leads stopped mid-trail. This is the frustrating reality of these operations. You can cut the head off the snake, but the body can still twitch. The data showed that a small but significant number of core accounts ceased all activity in the 72 hours leading up to the takedown. Was it a sixth sense, an insider tip, or just the network's built-in protocol for self-preservation? Investigators may never know. Operation Xray Wick was a success, but it also exposed serious weaknesses. Delayed international cooperation, legal barriers slowing data access, and platforms reacting only after damage was done. Because the systems that allowed it to exist still remain. Operation Xray Wick proved one thing. In the digital age, the most dangerous crimes aren't always the loudest. They're the ones hiding in plain sight. These are the questions that keep cybercrime investigators awake at night.